Hello students, myself is Parminder Singh from Prab Kripa classes. Our today's topic is a deep dive into currency appreciation. After going through this course, the students will understand the meaning of currency appreciation. They will understand that if the currency of a country appreciates, the strength of the currency of that country becomes stronger relative to foreign currencies. The students will also understand that in case of currency appreciation, imports become cheaper for the domestic buyers. The students will also understand that there are many reasons for the currency appreciation in a particular country. It may be high GDP growth, trade surplus position of that country, then speculative activity, and there may be higher interest rates in that country which are attracting the foreign investors towards that country. Then the students will also understand the effect of currency appreciation on exports. The students will understand that in case of currency appreciation, the exports become expensive for the foreign buyers, and the exports in the appreciating country are adversely affected due to currency appreciation. The students will also understand that the currency appreciation impacts not only inbound tourism but also the outbound tourism. The students will also understand that currency appreciation has a significant impact on foreign debt, and currency appreciation is positive for the borrowers. We will discuss each of these topics in detail and in a very simple language. You will find this course very informative. Now the topic before us is understanding currency appreciation. An increase in the value of domestic currency relative to other currencies in the foreign exchange market is called currency appreciation. We understand with the help of an example. Suppose we are from India. Here in India, the currency is domestic currency is Indian rupee. We want to purchase US dollars. What is the exchange rate? 1 US dollar is equal to 83 Indian rupee. It is approximate. So, if we want to purchase 1 US dollar, we will have to pay 83 Indian rupee. So, if due to some reasons like political stability, investors' improved confidence, and demand and supply considerations, suppose the Indian rupee appreciates and 80 Indian rupee become equal to 1 US dollar. So this is currency appreciation. Earlier we had to pay 83 Indian rupee to get 1 US dollar, but now we have to pay only 80 Indian rupee to get 1 US dollar. If earlier we were importing a US goods for 1 US dollar, we have to pay 83 Indian rupee. But now when we are importing the same good from USA, we have to pay only 80 Indian rupee. So this is currency appreciation, where the value of our domestic currency increases relative to foreign currencies, and it increases the purchasing power of the residents of the appreciating country. Now the topic before us is currency appreciation. How does it affect the cost of imported goods? Currency appreciation means your domestic currency becomes stronger relative to foreign currencies. It means that we have to take fewer units of our domestic currency to buy the same amount of foreign goods. In essence, the import becomes cheaper for domestic buyers. We will understand the same with the help of an example. Suppose you are a company. Suppose you are a company in USA and you are importing shirts from France. Now we further assume that cost of each shirt is 100 euro. Now we also assume that when we are importing shirts, the exchange rate between US dollar and euro is as 120 US dollars is equal to 100 euro. It is when we are importing. Suppose there is appreciation in currency of US dollar and 100 US dollars become equal to 100 euro after appreciation. Earlier $120 were equal to 100 euro, but the domestic currency of USA, that is US dollars, has appreciated. So 100 US dollars have become equal to 100 euro. Now what is the cost of shirt? Now the cost of shirt is, earlier you had to pay 120 US dollars when you were importing. Now when there is appreciation in domestic currency of US dollars, you have to pay only 100 US dollars. So the cost of imported goods for the foreign buyers, that is the residents of USA, have become cheaper. Imported goods have become cheaper. In the early 2010s, the domestic currency of Japan, yen, had also appreciated. Because of the appreciation of Japanese yen, the cost of Japanese goods have become cheaper for the foreign buyers. As we can understand the same with the help of an example. Suppose a popular smartphone was being imported from, say, USA. Japanese people are importing smartphone from USA and the cost of one smartphone is 500 US dollars, the cost when they are importing. And earlier, when they are importing, 1 US dollar is equal to 100 Japanese yen. Now the Japanese yen has appreciated. Suppose after appreciation, 1 US dollar is equal to 100 Japanese. So earlier, to purchase or to import a smartphone, Japanese people have to pay 50,000 Japanese yen. Earlier, when there was no appreciation, when the exchange rate was 1 US dollar is equal to 100 Japanese yen. Now, as Japan yen has appreciated, now the Japanese people have to pay only 40,000, 80 into 500, only 40,000 Japanese yen. So, when the currency of any country appreciates, it gives more purchasing power in the hands of the residents of the appreciating country. So, imports become cheaper. We hope you might have understood the concept very clearly. Now, the topic before us is how does currency appreciation affect a country's exports? What is the meaning of currency appreciation? Currency appreciation means that your domestic currency becomes stronger relative to foreign currencies. When the currency of your country appreciates, it means that exports have become expensive for the foreign buyers, because foreigners will have to pay more of their own currency to purchase the same amount of goods from us or the appreciating country where the currency has appreciated. We will understand what we have said with the help of an example. Suppose USA exports cars to France. We assume that cost of car is 10,000 US dollar. This is the cost of car. We also assume that exchange rate between one US dollar and other currency, that is euro, is equal. That is 1 USD, 1 US dollar is equal to 1 euro. So the cost of car for the residents of France is 10,000 euros. Now, US dollar has appreciated and the exchange rate between US dollar and euro has become 1 US dollar is equal to 1.2 euro. Now, after appreciation, US dollar has appreciated, and for 1 US dollars, now the residents of USA can get 1.2 euros. That is more of foreign currency they can get. Now, what is the cost of car? After appreciation of US dollars, cost of car, that is what the residents of France will have to pay to purchase the said car. The cost of car is same, 10,000 US dollars. Now, after appreciation, they will have to pay 12,000 euros, which earlier they were paying only 10,000 euros. Now they will have to pay 12,000 euros. So when US dollar, when the currency of a country has appreciated, the foreigners have to pay more to get the things from the appreciating country. We also understand with the help of a real life example which has happened in the case of Switzerland. From September 2011 to January 2015, January 2015, Swiss National Bank, Switzerland's bank, central bank, Swiss National Bank adopted the policy of maintaining exchange rate between Swiss franc, which is their currency. They were adopting the policy of maintaining the exchange rate between Swiss franc with that of euro. They were adopting the policy that this some exchange rate has to be maintained, and at around 1.2 CHF 1 euro was being exchanged. That is, the Swiss National Bank used to take the steps during this period to maintain this exchange rate. We have mentioned only approximate figures. But in January 2015, they abandoned the policy of maintaining the exchange rate between Swiss franc and euro. Now, due to the abandonment of maintaining the exchange rate between euro and franc, the Swiss franc appreciated. The currency of Switzerland and Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is also a small border nation between Austria and Switzerland. Both these countries have same currency, Swiss franc. So, due to abandoning the policy of maintaining the exchange rate between Swiss franc and euro, the currency of Switzerland, that is Swiss franc, appreciated by about 20%. All of us know that Switzerland is very famous for their watches and other things. So, due to the appreciation of Swiss franc, the exports of Swiss goods became expensive for the foreign buyers. So, when the exports became expensive in Switzerland, it also adversely affected the exports of that country. So, you have understood that when the currency of a country appreciates, it makes the goods which have to be imported expensive for the foreign buyers, and it also adversely affects the exports of that country and also the jobs of the sectors which are involved in exporting the goods. We hope you have understood the point very clearly. Now the topic before us is what makes a currency appreciate. There are many reasons for the appreciation of the currency of a country. First is high GDP growth. When a country consistently shows high GDP growth, economic performance of the country is good for the last many years. So the investors from all over the world get attracted towards that country. So the demand of the currency of that country increases, which results into the appreciation of the currency of that country. Next is higher interest rates. It may be possible that in any particular country, the yields of financial assets like bonds is higher in comparison to other countries. So the investors from all over the world would like to make investment in the financial assets of those countries, that particular country, which increases the demand for the currency of that country, and due to this there is appreciation in the value of currency of that country. Next is trade surplus. Trade surplus means exports are more in comparison to imports. When the exports are more, it means that the foreigners have to pay more than to get from that country. So to pay for the exports, the foreigners will have to buy the domestic currency. It increases the demand for domestic currency and ultimately results into the appreciation of domestic currency of that particular country from where the exports are being made. Next is, if there is political stability in any particular country, and the economic performance of that country is good, then the investors from all over the world would like to make investment in that country. So it increases the demand for the currency of that country. Further, if the stock market in a particular country is undervalued, if the investors think so, then they would like to make investment in the share market of that country, and it increases the demand for the currency of that country, and it results into the appreciation of the currency of that country. Next is speculative activity. If the speculators believe that the currency of any particular country is likely to increase, if they think so, then they will naturally buy that currency in bulk. It will increase the demand and it will result into the appreciation of the currency. All these factors result into the appreciation of the currency. However, how much currency appreciates, it depends on the circumstances of each economy differently. So these factors affect any economy in a different way. We also like to mention that there is real life example of currency appreciation in the case of Australia. During early 2010s, 2000s, during the early 2000s, Australia witnessed currency appreciation against US dollar because there was high GDP growth, booming was there in mining sector, and there were robust exports of coal and iron ore. And further, the political environment of that country was stable. So all these factors in Australia in early 2000s helped in the appreciation of the currency of Australia. Now the topic before us is the double-edged sword, how currency appreciation affects tourism. Currency appreciation has a double-edged effect on tourism. It affects both inbound and outbound travel. First is, it adversely affects inbound tourism. Why? Because when the currency of a country appreciates, the foreign people who are visiting that country will have to pay out more in respect of their accommodation, food, etc. We will understand the same with the help of an example. Suppose 1 US dollar is equal to 83 INR. INR is Indian rupee. We are living in India. We are taking the example of USA and India. Suppose people from USA or tourists from USA are visiting India. So at present, if they visit India, they will get 83 in exchange of 1 US dollars. Suppose the currency of India appreciates. Now the value of Indian rupee has appreciated and 1 US dollar is equal to 80 Indian rupee. That is, now the residents of USA or the tourists from USA will get less currency of Indian rupee in return of 1 unit of US dollar. So when they will get less in return of the 1 US dollar, in return of the same US dollars which they are spending. So it will naturally adversely affect the tourism industry also. It can hurt the revenue of the tourism sector in the appreciating country, because the foreigners will have to reduce their duration to stay at the country where the currency has appreciated. Further, in some countries, tourism is a major source of income for a part, maybe a source of major income for the particular economy. So if the currency of that country appreciates, it adversely affects the inbound tourism. Further, currency appreciation increases outbound tourism. That is, the residents of the appreciating country would like to make more international travels. In other words, it makes international travel more affordable. How it happens? Suppose at present 83 Indian rupee is equal to 1 US dollar. So if an Indian wants to go abroad, say USA, so to get 1 US dollar, he will have to pay 83 rupee. So now if the currency has appreciated, Indian rupee has appreciated to say 80 Indian rupee is equal to 1 US dollar. So after appreciation, the Indian people or the tourists from India will have to pay only 80 rupees to get 1 US dollar. Earlier they used to pay 83 rupee to get 1 US dollar. Now they have to pay less to get 1 US dollar. So international tourism for the tourists from the appreciating country becomes more affordable. However, it may be added that tourism of a country does not depend solely on currency appreciation. The tourism in any country is also affected by the political scenario in that country, and what are the unique attractions of that country, and what is the safety point of view in that country. If a country is very much affected by terrorism activities, or there is some sort of disturbance in that country, then the tourism is likely to be remain affected even though there is currency appreciation or any other steps. Now the topic before us is, if a country's currency gets stronger, does it become easier to pay back foreign debt? Why or why not? Currency appreciation has a significant impact on foreign debt, and it is a positive one for borrowers. What it means? When the currency of a country appreciates, the value of the currency of that country increases in comparison to foreign currencies. We understand the same with the help of an example. Suppose a company borrows 1 million US dollars for purchasing certain equipments. Suppose the value of 1 US dollar is equal to 83 Indian rupee. INR is the currency of India. So what is the loan which has been availed by a company or the government of India? It is, say, if the current value of the loan in Indian rupee is 83 million Indian rupee. This is the loan. present day, the value of loan which has been availed by the government of India or any company in India. If Indian rupee weakens, suppose rupee weakens and say it becomes is equal to 90 Indian rupee becomes equal to $1. So what is the situation? So if the company or government of India wants to pay back the loan, they will have to pay more, because earlier if they were to return, they would likely to have paid 83 million Indian rupee plus interest after adjustment or something like that. But when the rupee has weakened, if the Indian company or the Indian government wants to repay the loan, it will have to pay more, say approximately $90 million, 90 million Indian rupees. So more will have to be paid by the Indian company to pay back the loan. But if the rupee appreciates, what is the scenario? Suppose if after appreciation $1 is equal to 80 Indian rupee, that is the Indian rupee has appreciated. So after appreciation, the Indian company will have to pay less to repay the debt. Now, when the rupee has appreciated, there is a difference of 3 million Indian rupee, or some adjustments may be there in the shape of interest. So less will have to be paid. So this difference in the amount leaves resources or financial resources for the government to use that funds for infrastructure or some other development or some social security measures. Now, what is the impact of this appreciation on the impact of currency appreciation also depends on the size of debt. If you have taken large debt, then even a minor appreciation will result into huge savings for you. If there is large debt, then even a minor appreciation will result into large savings. It is important to remember that currency appreciation is a double-edged sword. On one side, it is beneficial for the borrowers, as they will have to pay less to repay the debt. But at the same time, it adversely affects the exporters of the appreciating country, because exports become more expensive for the foreign buyers. Now the topic before us is whether central bank intervenes in currency appreciation. Now the answer is generally the central bank do not intervene. Generally, the central bank is oftenly concerned with currency depreciation, that the currency of that country should not depreciate. However, if there is excessive currency depreciation, excessive currency appreciation, the central bank intervenes if there is excessive currency appreciation. Then why do they intervene in case of excessive currency appreciation? To protect their exporters, because to protect exporters, because when the currency of a country appreciates, the exporting goods become expensive for the foreign buyers. So the exports of that country are adversely affected, and it also results into the job losses of the sectors involved in exports. So to protect exporters, central bank do intervene in case of excessive appreciation. They also intervene to maintain competitiveness, export competitiveness in the global market. To remain competitive in the export market, they intervene. Now the question is, how do they intervene? They intervene by selling domestic currency. When the currency has excessively appreciated, the central bank of that country sells the domestic currency, and the supply of domestic currency increases in the market, and so the value of that currency reduces. Excessive depreciation is offset. The central bank may also purchase foreign exchange reserves. So when the central bank purchases the foreign exchange reserves or foreign exchanges, foreign currency is purchased by the central bank, it reduces the availability of foreign currency in the market, and it indirectly reduces the value of domestic currency because the foreign currency becomes more valuable. The foreign currency is being purchased by the central bank, foreign currency becomes more valuable, and it indirectly affects the value of the domestic currency. It is not that intervention by the central bank is easy, because the foreign exchange market is very vast, and large scale intervention by the central bank may be very costly, and the central bank may not be always successful because its forex market is very vast and complex. Further, if there is large scale intervention by the central bank in the forex market, then it may give signal to the market that the central bank is losing confidence in its domestic currency. If the central bank is purchasing currency, its own currency, in large bulk, then it may send signal to the others that it is, if the central bank is purchasing foreign currency, then the investor from the other countries may feel that the central bank is losing confidence in its own currency, and it may adversely affect the value of the domestic currency. Overall, the central bank has many tools to manage the currency appreciation. It is a very delicate act, and it has its own challenges. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course.